Hi everyone, Al DeMarco here, General Manager at DeMarcosports.com, and the big dance has finally arrived. Unless you count those little play-in games the past couple of nights, which I don't. But listen, you know the drill. I am on a 23-6 roll with the complimentary college basketball plays I've given away here on the video report over the past 3+ weeks, 23 out of 29 with the plays I've given away. And today I've got a slew of complimentary plays. In fact, other than my best bet, which is on BYU and Dakota, I'm going to give you my official complimentary plays. And since I handicapped every single game on today's card, I'll give you my thoughts on all the games. So there you go. And that's what's coming up here in just a moment. If you want to know who's hot in terms of going into today's games, let me just tell you the hottest guys would be A, Matt Rivers, who is going for top-rated 100-time college basketball winner number 24 out of 29 over the past 24 months, a stretch where $10 basketball players have made $12,876 with his last 71 plays. And $10 bettors in basketball, in all sports combined over the past 24 months, have made a little over $12,400. Today, that's on Kentucky and Oakland. You get it for half price off. And the other guy would be Shawn Michaels, who is going for college basketball winner number 26 out of 38 this season. A season where $10 basketball bettors have collected $9,400. And again, that's wins minus losses minus the VIG. And his top-rated 100-dime basketball release number 12 out of 16 goes today. It's his first-round mismatch of the year. It's one of your daytime card games, and that's available for over half price off as well. So that's what's going over at DeMarcosports.com. With that being said, let's get busy here with your complimentary plays. Okay, I think my best bets in terms of today's cards, one of them is going to go be Kentucky. Now, going into the SEC tournament, I know one day I told you that, talking about Kentucky, that, Coach Cal has always made no secret that he's not a big fan of like the SEC tournament. It just kind of gets in his way of playing in the big dance. Of course, when has Kentucky really done well either in the SEC tournament or in the big dance of late? So they, of course, got knocked out in their first game by Texas A&M. And now it's time for Kentucky to get a little redemption. Are they a big favorite today against Oakland? Yes, 13.5 points. But listen, I had so many plays as a best bet or here on the comp in terms of comp plays involving Horizon League teams this year. It was one of my most profitable conferences. And the Golden Grizzlies, I am very well familiar with. This is a good team for the Horizon League. But they don't have a lot of size. They're not a very good rebounding team. And I think Kentucky will come out here and be very focused. Listen, the two coaches here have known each other for a number of years. For Coach Cal, Jesus, the game's in Pittsburgh. I think he grew up in Moon Township, which is like right outside of Pittsburgh. I know I've stayed there at a Spring Hill Suites, I think, once or twice in my life, driving across country. And by the way, for those of you that want to be on Jeopardy someday, FYI, two former students of Oakland University, David Hasselhoff and Robert Englund, of course, a.k.a. Freddy Krueger. There you go. This is why you come to this video report, to get those tidbits of information. But bottom line is, I just don't think that Oakland will be able to match Kentucky point for point in this game. So I like Kentucky a lot here in this contest, and I think they're going to win it comfortably. Walk away here with an easy 20-point win, if not more. So that's one. Oregon and South Carolina, I think, is a very interesting game. These two teams, you're not going to see a lot of points like Kentucky and Oakland. You have Dana Altman, 14 years as a coach, 7 for 7 in first round games, right? 7 for 7. And you got a team in Oregon who really peaked at the end of the season, especially in the Pac-12 tournament where they knocked off Arizona and Colorado to win the Pac-12 crown. And the most important thing here with Oregon is their big man, was healthy down the stretch. He only played 20 or 21 games this entire season. Now, they are a number 11 seed. And you say, well, that's not too good. But remember, Altman has won twice in his career as a number 12 seed. And certainly Altman has the experience where Lamont Paris, the South Carolina coach, does not. This is just the second time he's been in the big dance. And I think here, taking Oregon as a 1.5 point underdog is the way to go. Although in some books, it's very funny, the spread here in this line. Oregon is anywhere from a 1 point favorite to a 1.5 point underdog. Go figure. So once again, it just shows you the value of having at least 2 books to play at, depending on where you're at, so you can always compare and contrast prices. But I do like Oregon in this spot. Let's see, another game that I really like, as opposed to the games that I'm going to be running down for you here in a minute. You got to love it when I have this many games. Oh, Arizona, a 20-point favorite over Long Beach State. Listen, I think it's a great story, just a great story, what happened with the Long Beach State coach. But, I like taking Arizona after the Wildcats have played poorly. And here's the thing. Arizona lost 2 of its final 3 games, right? Lost at USC, then beat USC handily in their home finale, 70-49, and then lost to Oregon in the Pac-12 tournament, right? And this is a team that was number 3 in the nation in scoring at 87.9 points a game. But they only scored 65 points in a 13-point loss at USC. They scored 70 in the 21-point home win against USC, and then they were held to 50 points at the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas in the 6-point loss to Oregon. So, again, they averaged 87.9 points on the year, but they scored 65, 70, and 59 in their last 3 games. Now, Caleb Love, who was their leading scorer, averaged a little over 18 points a game this year. Definitely hit a little bit of a slump. Had 6 points on 2 for 11 shooting against Oregon. His last 3 games averaged 7.3 points, 22% shooting from the field, 4 for 18 on 3-pointers, 11 turnovers, 7 assists. A little bit of a mini slump. But this guy has been a prime-time performer. Remember what he did a couple of years ago for North Carolina in the dance, okay? And also consider this. Today Arizona's playing Long Beach State. This is not a team that is strong defensively like USC was playing at the end of the season. Not a strong defensive team with a dominant big man like Oregon presented against Arizona, okay? The other guy for Arizona that has been struggling is Love's backcourt mate, the point guard, Kylan Boswell, who's their second best 3-point shooter at nearly 39% on the year, but 1 for 10 on threes and 4 for 23 overall from the field in his last 3 games. Again, considering who they played, USC twice and Oregon, I can certainly understand this. Also, I think Arizona has a little extra motivation because remember last year how they were embarrassed and punked by Princeton in the first round. They also have the dominant center in the 7-footer Ball, who just continually racked up double-doubles this season and averaged a little over 13 points and 10 rebounds a game. Long Beach State, again, great story, but a team that doesn't hit well from beyond the arc, only about 31% on the season. A poor free throw shooting team as well, only about 71%. So I think Arizona, which has never lost 2 consecutive games during Tommy Lloyd's tenure, easily pulls away and gets the cover here, and I think that they will win this game by 25 or 26 points. And people say in the first round of the tournament, oh, you got to be careful about laying the double digits. And I say, no. I think in the first round, you see the big chalks often cover. Yeah, you're going to have some upsets, but generally that's going to be the single-digit numbers where you're going to see the upsets. No, I think you're going to see some big chalks roll by big margins, and 2 of them are going to be Kentucky and Arizona today. So again, those plays, I like Kentucky a lot, and love Arizona a lot as well. And then let me see if there's any other plays that I really want to go to before starting to run down the card. No, No. So if I had to rank the official free plays, it would be Kentucky, Arizona, and Oregon. Okay? Kentucky, Arizona, and Oregon in that order. Now, with that being said, let's get let me get all the odds up here for you, and let me run down every single game left on today's card. I should have worn my glasses for this because, boy, those numbers are damn small. Okay, so you have, yes, you have Wagner and North Carolina. Yeah, I'll go with North Carolina. Listen, Wagner's playing a 7-man rotation. Every single game during the Northeastern Conference that they're from, they played a 7-man rotation because injuries have taken their toll on the Seahawks all season long. And they played 7 men against Howard the other night too. And remember, that game was in Dayton. And now the tournament committee didn't do them any favors, which they shouldn't, as a 16 seed. And since North Carolina is practically playing at home, playing at the Spectrum Center in Charlotte today, and North Carolina is what, a 23.5, 24.5 point favorite today? Yeah, against a Wagner team that has problems scoring and has a 7-man rotation, in North Carolina lost in the semifinals to NC State. So North Carolina, this game is at 2:45 Eastern time. We're not even talking 48 hours that Wagner had to play at Dayton, beat Howard, hold on for their dear life to beat Howard, and now they're on the road from Dayton to North Carolina? Yeah, I'll take North Carolina. Matter of fact, I'll tell you what, I really like North Carolina. Let's add that to the make that the 4th complimentary play. The more I think about that. So let's revise that complimentary play order. Let's just do this again real quick here. Listen, it's my prerogative. It's my video report. So let's make that Kentucky, Arizona, North Carolina, Arizona and North Carolina on level 2, Kentucky number 1, North Carolina and Arizona on line number 2, and then Oregon on line number 3. Tennessee and St. Peter's. Rick Barnes better win this game. Better win it big. Can he win it big? 18.5 points? Well, no, it's actually 21.5 points now. I don't know. I guess if you put a gun to my head, I'd take Tennessee, but if Tennessee comes out focused and they play their typically stout defense, they should blow away St. Peter's. The Peacocks aren't that good. They're a pretty good defensive team, but your guess is as good as mine which Volunteers team shows up here. Michigan State and Mississippi State. Interesting contest here. The under might be a better play at 130, 129, but I do like Mississippi State. I know Tom Izzo never loses a first-round game, but listen, Michigan State was so pathetic most of the time this year, and I like the way Mississippi State played in the SEC tournament. So I would lean toward Mississippi State. Colorado State and Texas. Listen, I liked Colorado State the other night against Virginia, but let's face it, Virginia is such an inept offensive team. Texas does have offensive ability. Now, Colorado State is going to find that Texas has some bigs, unlike Virginia, okay? And Texas has 2 high-scoring guards. Now, the point guard battle is going to be very good between Albus and Stevens, the 2 guards here who hail from Texas and have known each other since their high school days. I think this is clearly a pick-em game. Texas is 2.5 to 3-point favorite. Although I like Colorado State in here, and I think I took Colorado State on my bracket, I wouldn't be surprised if Texas won this game. This is a game I would not bet at all. Next game, NC State and Texas Tech. I think NC State is in a horrible position here. The tournament committee didn't do them any favors. NC State off an emotionally draining and physically draining ACC tournament championship, playing 5 games in 5 days with the tournament concluding on Sunday, and instead of giving them a Friday game, they have them playing on Thursday. I mean, no respect for the ACC champion. None whatsoever. Now, the problem here is with Texas Tech, and Texas Tech has a couple of injuries. Their starting center and their only guy who's over 6'8" on the team, Warren Washington, has played 13 minutes in 1 game since February 10th, okay? He is their only interior post presence guy, averages 10.7.5 rebounds a game. He participated in the open practice session yesterday, but their head coach said he would not be available to play until he took part in a full scrimmage. Now, your guess is as good as mine as to whether that happened after the open practice session. The other thing is that their third leading scorer and their leading rebounder, Darian Williams, turned his ankle in last Thursday's game, did not play in Friday's game against Houston, says he's going to play and he's ready to go. But how healthy is he? So I like Texas Tech in this game, but there's a couple of big asterisks next to that contest. And Texas Tech is a 5-point favorite in this game. So although I lean to the Red Raiders, I'd be hesitant to put money on them because even though I think everything goes against NC State, you've got injury issues with Texas Tech. And listen, I'm doing this report at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, and that is the latest injury news as of about an hour ago that I could find on the Red Raiders in this game. Okay, next game I told you about Kentucky and Oakland. Next game I told you about Oregon and South Carolina. Creighton and Akron. Creighton is a 12.5, 13-point favorite. As I told you when breaking down the brackets, if this was the Akron team from early in the season up until maybe the second week in February, I probably would have taken Akron plus the points because Akron is a damn good rebounding team. But offensively, they struggled down the stretch. Creighton, at times, can shoot the lights out of the ball. They are not a very deep team. 1 through 5, very good. 6, 7, and 8, I think I'd really struggle. But they do have the big man in the middle. I think they'll hold their own on the boards here, and I would go ahead and lay the points with Creighton if you force me. Duquesne BYU is my best bet on the board. Morehead State and Illinois. Illinois, an 11.5-point favorite. You know the Illini, they could score 90, and they could give up 82. But I would go ahead and play Illinois if I had to in this game. Drake and Washington State. Washington State hasn't been in the postseason in forever. Drake is a proven veteran team. 5 double-digit scores. The best player on the court is on the Bulldogs. I like Drake. And I like Drake even more considering the way that everybody thought Indiana State, including me, would win the Missouri Valley Conference Championship, and yet the Bulldogs came out, opened up the 18-point first-half lead, withstood a furious comeback by the Sycamores, and won that game. They are coming in here with the momentum, and I like Drake in that contest. Iowa State. 16-point favorite over South Dakota State. Now, did Iowa State take care of business against Houston? Yes, right? And Iowa State did win the Big 12 championship. But Iowa State is such a damn good defensive team, but they really struggle offensively. South Dakota State, coming from the Southern League, they can hold their own on the boards. They played some decent non-conference teams this year. I would not be surprised if South Dakota State plus the 16.5 points covers this game, and that's the way I would go. Would I bet money on the game? Not if you paid me, but I like South Dakota State. Now, over in the first round at the Delta Center at Salt Lake City, you've got McNeese State, a 6.5-point underdog against Gonzaga. Isn't that just one of the names you just want to throw out there sometimes and say it sharply? Listen, the Cowboys are a good team. Will Wade might have been a cheater, who knows? I mean, we'll never know. Nowadays with the NIL, what he did maybe isn't so bad, but who knows? But it's a good team, a very good shooting team. They didn't really play anybody this year. Bulldogs ended the season very strong, despite that loss to St. Mary's in the conference championship in the West Coast Conference. All that being said, I believe that you go against McNeese State, even though they are an extremely popular pick in betting circles today. Having watched that team, I think that this price is too cheap and they are not getting enough points today. You either stay away or you play the favorite in that one. Kansas and Samford, okay? This is one I talked about when breaking down my brackets. The top 2 players for Kansas, their leading scorer is out. And their second leading scorer and top rebounder, Hunter Dickinson, he had the dislocated shoulder, suffered in the regular season finale, did not play in the conference tournament. He says he's going to go today. How healthy is this guy going to be playing with a dislocated shoulder that he suffered just a couple of weeks ago? You saw how Kansas had no depth and no talent really when you got down to it, when they got blown out by Houston by 30 and then lost by 20 to... who the hell did they lose by 22? I can't remember. How does it really matter? Anyway, Kansas lost. Cincinnati. They lost 4 of their final 5 games. I just like Samford in this spot. Has Samford played anybody this year? No. In their two step-up games, they lost big time. But this is a team that hits almost 40% of their three-pointers. They launch about 25 threes a game. They force a hell of a lot of turnovers. In fact, they force turnovers on 21% of their opponents' possessions. That's a top 15 statistic in the nation. I like this team that averages 86 points a game and hits almost 49% from the field. I think the only way you bet this game, if you're going to bet it at all, is take Samford, because Kansas just has too many question marks here offensively. Nevada and Dayton, two evenly matched teams, right? Nevada, last year, if you remember, folded in the first 4 games. Came out against Arizona State and just got obliterated in the first half. But this is a veteran team led by 2 senior guards, and I like Nevada in this game. How many times this year did you see Dayton just absolutely choke on the road? Could not win outside of Dayton with rare exception. I like Nevada. Comes from a strong Mountain West Conference this year. 2 senior guards. I think that where Dayton will want to slow down the pace a little, has a little better rebounding ability. But again, Nevada is a damn good team, and I like the Wolfpack in this contest. And of course, Arizona and Long Beach State. I already broke that game down for you. So anyway, that's all your plays, so you don't have to write in and ask me, hey, Al, who do you like on this particular game? I think I've solved all those issues, and I already recapped all the games for you. So listen, guys, I wish you the best of luck today, and we're going to do this exact same thing again tomorrow, where I'll give you my complimentary plays and break the games down for you as well. So again, today, Kentucky number 1, second line, Arizona and North Carolina equally, and then the third line would be Oregon. Good luck, everybody.